Hello, everyone. Welcome to Y Media Group. I am your host, Shelly Seni, and I am joined by Conservative Party leader, Pierre. Welcome, Minister. How are you today?
It's great to be here. Let's bring it home.
Okay, I have my questions ready for you. I first of all want to ask you on the legalization of hard drugs in British Columbia. So small amounts of drugs have been legalized in British Columbia, and the government says that the intention is to reduce the deaths due to drug overdose and also to bring focus on treatment. You don't think it can help with that?
It hasn't so far. The policy of legalization has effectively, in practice, been in place since 2017, when the Trudeau government indicated it did not want to enforce the drug laws in BC in partnership with the NDP provincial and municipal governments. And as what has happened since 2017, we've had 6 years of this experiment. The drug overdose rate has gone up 300%. They've quadrupled the number of people who've lost their lives due to overdoses. So the policy of Trudeau and the NDP has failed. It is killing people. It is taking lives. It has not worked. Now they're making it even worse by officially decriminalizing crack, heroin, methamphetamines, and other dangerous drugs. And they're providing some of these drugs with tax dollars. We know what's happening with that money, with those drugs. They're then being resold. The addicts are going into pharmacies, getting the taxpayer-funded drugs. They're ripping off the labels, selling those drugs to kids, and taking the profits to buy more powerful and lethal drugs like fentanyl. So what Trudeau is doing, along with the NDP, is flooding our streets with taxpayer-funded, decriminalized, deadly drugs that are killing our people. What's the solution? Cancel Trudeau's legalization and ban hard drugs so that our police can enforce the law and protect people. 2, instead of giving people taxpayer-funded drugs, let's give them treatment. Give them a bed, a detox, medications that help them overcome withdrawal, and keep them separated from their addiction for 90 days while they get a life plan to get back on the street. And let's bring home a drug-free life for our brothers, our sisters, our friends, our neighbors. We can do it. They're doing it in Alberta. It's working there. It's saving lives, and I will do it nationwide.
You said that you will be doing it nationwide, but do you think that none of it is happening as of now?
Well, what's happening now is that Trudeau is making it easier and more affordable to get dangerous, poisonous drugs. He is kneecapping our law enforcement. So go to the Lower East Side of Vancouver. You see where Justin Trudeau's policies are playing themselves out. Tent cities, people lying face first on the cement with their overdoses. Their lungs are stopping and they're dying 6 a day in British Columbia. 6 people die every day in British Columbia because of drug overdoses. This is a 300% increase in overdose deaths since Trudeau took office. 30,000 people have lost their lives since he became prime minister as a result of overdoses. His policies are killing people. I will do exactly the opposite. Let's ban the hard drugs, give our law enforcement the ability to help people, bring them into treatment and recovery. In Alberta, they're doing it. They're using provincial money from the Conservative government to double the number of treatment beds from 4,000 to 8,000. And already we're seeing a reduction in overdose deaths. I'm going to do the same thing right across the country.
All right. Coming to my next question, which is both sensitive and controversial. Minister at FAST recently tabled Bill C-314, and you have been calling the medically assisted death to mental illness people a medical suicide. Give us more details on that.
Well, Justin Trudeau has announced that within less than a year, his government will be providing medical assistance in dying to people whose only condition is mental illness. And right now you can get medical assistance in dying if you have a very serious cancer or an extremely painful condition that will ultimately kill you. We're not proposing to change that. However, what Trudeau is proposing is for people who are depressed, anxious, sad, going through a hard time in their life, that the government will come in and offer to end their lives, kill them. And I don't believe that's the answer. We've all been through hard times, Shelley. All of our families have suffered and struggled and gone through the valley where we feel like there's no hope. And so we all felt like giving up at times. And the last thing we need is the government to step in and say, sure, we'll end your life. That is an irreversible decision. Once you do it, you can't take it back. What we should do is go to those people and say, there's hope for a better life. You can get treatment for depression and anxiety and other mental conditions. So the government should stand up and fight for people's lives rather than encouraging them to bring about their death.
Now, the question that I'm asking, the answer could be very subjective, but in the last 2 years, of course, because of the pandemic situation, also people have been feeling down and under. But overall in the country, because you have been traveling a lot, meeting with a lot of people, what do you think the current mood is?
I've never seen it this bad, Shelley. After 8 years of Trudeau, everything's broken. Everything's broken. We have record highs in drug overdoses. Violent crime is up 32%. Gang killing is up 92% because of Trudeau's catch and release bail laws. The cost of food is soaring 12% year over year, partly because of Trudeau's carbon tax. It's more expensive to heat your home or gas your car. And the cost of housing has doubled. 8 years ago, you could rent the average apartment in Canada's 10 biggest cities for $950. Now it's over $2,000. Shelley, the average mortgage payment in Canada was $1,400 when Trudeau became prime minister. Now it's $3,200. Our young people are trapped living in their parents' basements until their mid-30s. How can they start a family, have kids, build credit history and collateral? Everything is broken after 8 years of Justin Trudeau. But you know what? We're going to turn the hurt that he has caused into the hope that Canadians need. We'll get rid of the carbon tax to bring down heat, gas, and groceries. We'll cap government spending to bring down the inflationary deficits and lower the cost of living. We'll reform the tax system so people bring home more of each dollar they earn. And speaking of homes, we'll build more homes. We need to get the government gatekeepers out of the way so that it's faster and easier for builders to build. I will bring in fines for big cities that block construction, but I will bring in building bonuses of extra infrastructure dollars for those cities that speed up permits so that we can build millions of new homes. I'm going to sell off 15% of the 37,000 federal buildings and turn those into affordable housing for our young people. And I'm going to require every federally funded transit station have housing all around or even on top of the transit station so that we can live, our young people and our seniors don't even need to own a cars. In other words, we're going to bring home the dream of home ownership.
These are ambitious projections. Where is the money going to come from?
Well, housing doesn't need government money. It's built by the private sector. We've always had private sector building of houses. The problem is not an absence of money. In fact, Trudeau's spending way more money on government housing projects, but they're not working. We don't need another government program. What we need is the cities and the bureaucracies to get out of the way and let builders build. We have the fewest houses per capita of any G7 country, even though we have the most land to build on. Why? Because it takes as much as 7 years to get a building permit. $600,000 of the cost of each house in Vancouver, $600,000 is just government permitting. The fees, the delays, the charges, the consultants, the taxes, all government. So what you need to do is get the government out of the way to let builders build quickly. That's what the Squamish people have done in Vancouver. They have land that they control out of the reach of the city of Vancouver. They are building 6,000 units on 10 acres of land. That's 600 units of housing for each acre. That's what we need. More densification, more houses, and we need the government to get out of the way and let it happen. Here's how I'll make that happen. I'm going to bring in fines for big city gatekeepers who block construction. They're going to get less infrastructure money. But those that get out of the way and speed up building will get a bonus, extra money from the federal government to incentivize faster and lower cost permits. And we're going to sell off useless, empty federal buildings, turn them into housing, and actually make money by selling those buildings that we can use to bring down our debt. In other words, let's bring home home ownership.
That's interesting and quite an out-of-the-box thinking there from from our leader of the opposition.
Out of the box, into the house.
Out of the box, into the house, right there. All right, now, speaking of in the house, let's talk about GTA. GTA is still considered a strong liberal household. How do you plan or strategize to break into this stronghold of liberals?
Well, I asked Torontonians, what has Justin Trudeau done for you? He's doubled your housing costs. He's increased violent crime. He's turned the TTC as a war zone. Our women are afraid to go on the train because they're attacked. There's more drug overdoses. You can't try to go to Pearson Airport. It's chaos. That's a federally regulated airport. Everything is worse for Torontonians after 8 years of Justin Trudeau. So if you've had enough, then it's time to bring it home. It's time to, for example, make work pay again. So that, Torontonians are working harder than ever, but they're not keeping any of their paycheck. They lose it all to taxes, clawbacks, and inflation. A Poilievre government is going to reform and cut taxes so you bring home more of each dollar you earn. Bring it home. We're also going to get rid of the carbon tax to lower your gas, heat, and grocery bills. We're going to incentivize the city to speed up home construction so that you have more homes to live in, and your 35-year-old can move out of your basement. Now, I know, or that if you are a young person, you can have a home to live in. That's what I'm offering Torontonians, a chance to bring it home, and we will bring it home, Shelley.
All right. My next question is actually, the news just came in that Minister of Defense, Anita Anand, and I'm quoting her here, said that no indication that objects downed over Yukon and Lake Huron were operated by foreign state. What is your comment to that?
I don't know the answer to that question because I don't have access to the intelligence. I know that there seems to be broad agreement that the first balloon that was detected that traveled across North America and that the U.S. administration shot down over the Atlantic, just east of South Carolina, was in fact a surveillance aircraft. But I don't have any information on the other two. But I know that we need to reinforce our own security. We need to stand on guard for Canada and bring home security by getting better results for our defense budget. Trudeau wasted 7 years and billions of dollars by blocking the F-35 purchase that the Conservatives had agreed to, and now we're paying the price because we don't have a proper air force to defend ourselves against these sorts of risks. We need a foreign influence registry so that anyone who's paid by a foreign government to manipulate our democracy is exposed, and we need more powerful intelligence and other national security systems to keep our people safe. In other words, bring home our democracy and our security.
Speaking of foreign interference, you have been calling and strongly calling for a public inquiry. How close are we to get there?
Not close right now. Trudeau's blocking it. We know now that the dictatorship in Beijing has been blocking Justin Trudeau. He's been influencing Justin Trudeau for a decade. They gave $200,000 to the Trudeau Foundation in 2013 and interfered in 2 successive elections to help Trudeau and to help him win those elections. Why? Why does Beijing want Trudeau as prime minister? It's a good question for him to answer. The only way we'll get answers is through an open public investigation, one that he has resisted and one that I will push for until it happens.
All right. Before I let you go, and you have been very generous with your time and frank with your answers.
Thank you, Kelly.
If you were to let our viewers know in 3 top things that a Poilievre government will do, what would that be?
Well, bring it home, bring it home, bring it home. Here's what I mean by that. First of all, we're going to bring home lower prices and more powerful paychecks. We'll lower prices by capping government spending, cutting government waste, and firing the high-priced consultants to bring our deficit down. That deficit is driving up inflation. When we bring it down, we'll lower inflation and interest rates. 2, we'll make work pay. Right now, it doesn't pay to work. A single mom earning $60,000 a year who's got 3 kids, she goes out and earns another $1, she loses 80 cents in clawbacks and taxes, income tax, payroll tax, clawbacks of her child benefit, where the government is punishing work. We need to reverse that. I'm going to reform and cut taxes and clawbacks so that you bring home more of each dollar you earn. 3rd, we're going to bring home ownership. We don't have enough homes. And right now, our young people are stuck living in their parents' basements. It's outrageous. You know, you could buy a house for $450,000, the average house 8 years ago. Now it's double that. Mortgage payments have doubled. Average rent has doubled. I can reverse that by bringing in more home construction. We're going to build more homes in Canada. I'll penalize big city politicians when they block construction and give them a bonus when they allow it to go ahead. Let's build more homes so that we can bring it home.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
It's wonderful to be with you. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Okay. Thank you, Shelley. Bye now.
Hi, this is Priyanka Chopra and you're watching Channel Y.
The biggest South Asian media group, Y Media.
Y Media Group, established in 2001, is a media company with a 360-degree approach in reaching our audience over 5 platforms: television, radio, newspaper, online news portal, and mobile app.
Y Media has newspaper, midweek, radio, South Asian pop.
Hi, I'm Amitabh Bachchan and you're listening to South Asian Pulse.
Hi, this is Amir Khan and you're listening to South Asian Pulse.
अब हर दिन सुने GTA का नंबर 1 रेडियो स्टेशन FM 91.9
All English 24/7 television network and Y Media Plus.
You are watching Channel Y. Channel Y.
Prime Minister, welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be back.
Online, SouthAsianDaily.com. The biggest South Asian media group, Y Media.